What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the second album by rapper Killer Mike. This product is called I Pledge Allegiance to the Grind, and it came out in the fall of 2006. So the thing about this particular product here is this is a double album as far as this first can happen. Pretty excellent type fair to get within the pitch behind it, but the unfortunate thing about this product here as far as this fair is going to happen is just the factoid as far as saying that not every single song is seemingly available on places like iTunes and Spotify and YouTube and some of those type places. I don't know why this is the second of like these Pledge albums that's particularly difficult to find as far as this fair is going to happen. Pledge 3 is also pretty difficult to find. Now originally it had been said that Pledge Allegiance to the Grind 2 from 2008 basically was an album that Killer Mike had said, at least it's been posted on Wikipedia, that you can actually download the album free. And nowadays I don't know as much full bound. He said that back in 2011, so I don't know if he still feels that way nowadays. But in the pitch, I did wind up purchasing Pledge Allegiance to the Grind 2 just a few months ago within the pitch. So I do own that particular one, but Pledges 1 and 3 are a little bit trickier to find within the fair. You can at least find Pledge 3 on like eBay pitches like that. But this particular album, I'm not sure as to why it's not full bound kind of on YouTube as far as this fair is going to happen. It's definitely, I was really questioning the concept of what a Killer Mike double album would kind of be like within some of those type fairs just within the pitch. Just because it's not super common for Southern hip hop artists to drop like double albums within the fair, at least back in the 2000s as frequently as it particularly kind of happened. I do want to say that the UGK double album was probably a classic within that appeal. When I eventually get to that one, I probably will give that one a pretty rave score. But I did not super commonly pay attention to this product back in the day, and I kind of regret it now because it's some awesome tough stuff here. Just be able to say out of the there's 21 songs in this particular album if you slash like the Pledge intro and outro and then the Hot 107.9 interview. I just would say originally it was 24 songs in this album, but minus like those 3 skits, like I said, that narrows it down to 21 songs. Out of those 21, I wound up recommending at least 14, but then the concept about it is there's really only 3 songs full bound. I wound up recommending 14 out of the 21 songs in here, but the thing about it is at least 4 of those songs I could not find anywhere on YouTube, Spotify, or otherwise as far as this fair is going to happen. So just within the concept, that really narrows it down to 14 out of like 17 as far as this fair is going to happen. So there's really only 3 songs out of the 17 songs that are available for me to listen to that I did not recommend as far as this fair is going to happen. So I would definitely say just to get up front with the scores that what I'm going to give this particular double album. Now within the pitch, because there's 4 songs I wasn't able to listen to, I am going to have to kind of have the judgmentalness about the score. But for what I give the score, 14 out of 17 is going to be a 9 out of 10. So out of the available songs that are still available on YouTube within pitch, I give this album a 9 out of 10 because there's just some blistering quality. The only 3 songs I don't recommend on here would just be Coming Home. The only 3 songs I don't recommend off this album would just be Coming Home Atlanta, One More Gram, and Gorilla Pimpin' as far as this fair is going to happen. So to talk about those real quick, basically Coming Home Atlanta was just kind of a sluggish type, soulful type song that just didn't really nail the appeal. It was just a more homely type one that just really flopped in like the fashion of being able to deliver upon. I just feel like UGK nails these songs a lot better within the pitch behind it. This is just a real kind of just awkward and kind of plotting type one that just didn't have much appeal. This was not presentable within the pitch as something affable. One More Gram was attempting to give off like the vibes. It was just kind of an awkward, I think it was just like a humorous take on something Biggie was kind of doing just within the pitch, because you know that particular song One More Chance remix is just so blisteringly popular. It's kind of that surreal type feeling that song particularly kind of gives, but it's just kind of an awkward take on that particular song. Didn't really live up to the expectations. Maybe that's on purpose that it didn't, but it was just kind of a song I didn't have as much real compellment for as far as this pitch can have. It just didn't nail the appeal like the Biggie vibes about it in particular. And then Gorilla Pimpin' was just kind of an awkward type one. This had 8-Ball and MJG on here. It was pretty much like the 8-Ball and MJG is basically like the biggest guest on this particular double album as far as this fair is going to happen, minus like Big Boy and Busta Rhymes, Lil Wayne, some of those type folks on like the Kryptonite remix on this particular album. But I just would say here, this was just kind of a poor venue type bop as far as this fair is going to happen. Gorilla Pimpin' was just kind of one that was trying to be like a strip club jump within a relative touch sense. Maybe not a full bound strip club, but just like the night venue where there'd be flashing lights, this particular kind of disco and dance type of feel within the fair behind it. Something social and festive, but it really felt like a limp type one just compared to some of these type ones on here. Like I definitely say I'm a Shines is better than that. GTRG, Grind Time Rap Gang is just a better type cut for some of those type fairs. The Juggernaut, some of these type ones just nail the appeals a lot better within some of those type fairs. Sags and Flags, some of those type ones just have a lot more glitz in this aspect. That was just kind of Gorilla Pimpin' just didn't have the appeal. Just kind of unfortunate because I think that would have been a pretty star-studded one to get Killer Mike, 8-Ball, and MJG, some of those type folks. But within the pitch, so just to say within the fair, so I still recommend basically 14 out of 17. So this album, just based upon the songs available, is going to get a 9 out of 10. But within the pitch here, basically to say if I wound up recommending 15 songs out of 21, I would have given this album like an 8. The 4 songs that are not available, just to go ahead and get that out of the way, the 4 songs that are not available just anywhere on YouTube and places like that, I would have to say would be songs like Gat Totin', What the Business Is, I See Ya, and Killers. So judging about whether or not I'd like those 4 songs, if I wound up liking at least one of the 4 songs that are not available, and it would be 15 out of 15 out of if it wound up being 15 out of 21 that I recommended, I would give this album an 8.5 out of 10. If I wound up recommending 16 out of 21, which would mean 2 of the remaining songs I didn't listen to, I wound up recommending get a 9 out of 10. And if I wound up recommending 3 out of the 4 songs that I was not able to listen to off this album, I'd give this album a 9.5 out of 10. Because I definitely say 17 out of 21 is pretty blistering. If I wound up recommending if I wound up recommending all 4 of the songs I was not able to hear off this particular album, 18 out of 21 here, I would give this album a 10 out of 10. Just simple enough to be able to say, I just would say that's just that much blistering type of appeal. But just within the aspect as far as saying, so we'll go ahead and talk about some of these songs here. So seemingly there was at least a single off this project. I was kind of questioning. Wikipedia does not commonly list like the promotion off this album, either on Killer Mike's discography or on the wiki page about this particular album, so it's just wasn't fair, but I was able to find that there was at least one music video dropped for this product, and that's You Don't Want This Life. This is like a nice primer for like some early 2010s kind of venue vibing. I'd have to say here, just some easy kind of social noise within some of those type of aspects. So it's just a real trendy type one within the pitch behind it. Barely feels like it was ripped out of 2006. Feels like something that Waka Flocka and Woo Da Kid, Gucci Mane, some of those type folks were doing kind of around that time, or not around that time, but around like 2010, 2011. Some of those particular just militant kind of just strip club junts as far as this fair is going to happen. Definitely one of those type ones that would feel produced by like Southside and 808 Mafia. Some of those type fairs just within the pitch, just early bird kind of mixtape centric type stuff. But the aspect about it is considering that Killer Mike was from Atlanta as well, it just feels like he had a pretty good ear for like the primers of what was getting ready to happen. This did come out in late 2006, so it's just kind of some early bird type noises to switch in that particular fold as to that started to happen between like 2008, 2009, 2010. So it's just a primer for that. Pretty good type taste of that particular primer as far as this fair is going to go. Good excellent type here, just some good venue noise. Some excellent type ones on here. Another good venue noise off this particular product would be GTRG. Like I said, it stands for Grind Time Rap Gang. GTRG is like some vintage kind of Texas fried creeping pull up to kind of get here, just a typical kind of night possessed. I'd have to say it goes with F You Pay Me. I would definitely feel like within some of those type of aspects. Fuck You Pay Me as far as those fairs can happen. It's good type pitch. Just feels like something that Slim Thug, Paul Wall, Kill and some of those type folks would pull up to within some of that type glitziness. Just feels like something that would be produced by like Beans and Cornbread and folks like that. I can't think of feels like a Mr. Lee beat, Beans and Cornbread, some of those type folks within the pitch behind as far as those fairs can have. It's an excellent type fair. I'm a Shine is a quality one as well. It's like a quality kind of routine neighborhood buzz noise kind of get here just to cruise around. Definitely, I feel like this is like some typical knock definitely about this song. Good song to toke to as far as this fair is going to happen. The particular thing about the song I'm a Shine is that feels like a primer for like early 2008, late 2000s type fair with folks like Rocco and Blood Raw and Jeezy, some of those type folks around the recession and Self-Made and My Life True Testament eras, like the recession, Self-Made, and My Life, the True Testimony type eras within some of those type folks that dropped those albums as far as those pitch can happen. So just good type primer for some of that as well. So once again, Killer Mike had a pretty good ear to the streets as far as those fairs can happen. HNIC is a nice one as well. It stands for Head Nigga in Charge. I'd say just good restaurant and social buzz kind of get here with like throwback kind of 2000s mixtape, like some throwback kind of 2000s mixtape type flavor as far as this fair is going to happen. Good mixtape spice about it, and it's a good song to marinate. Good mixtape spice about it, and it's a good song to marinate too as far as this fair is going to happen. So just an excellent aspect to be able to get here. Kind of an interesting type fair because not too many rappers commonly do like restaurant type music within pitch. I feel like Killer Mike is kind of blended between like a little bit of political rap in here, just some senses where it would be a little bit more not full bound kind of civil, but at least to the point where you could probably hear like the occasional type one. I mean, it's not within the pitch behind. It's not super common that you're going to hear rap songs within more restaurants like TGI Fridays and Olive Garden, some of those type places within the pitches that just going out for like forks and silverware and white dish plates and some of those type things within the pitch behind. But it's just kind of the aspect as far as saying, I do feel like within a pitch, HNIC is a particularly good type of appeal that just has that mixtape flavor. The Juggernaut's a quality one, like the appeal behind this one. It's like a vintage kind of DJ drama, kind of city hop to kind of get, just like Joel Santana's mic check, some of those type pitches around that particular time just feels ripped out like the Don Ken era, 2005, 2006, some of those type fairs. Typical outings as far as those pitches can happen. Just feels like something Jeezy, Joel's, Cameron, some of those type folks would have done mid 2000s happens. This pitch like that. It's good to get some of these type moments on here. Killer Mike's The Killer mixtape from the summer of 2006 had this particular appeal as well. So it's just good pitches like that. Get further type ones to some of these. Another one that's kind of like that is the next pitch. Another one that's kind of like that as well as the next pitch. It's like a city hopping kind of 2000s mixtape flavor to definitely say just some Don Cannon kind of basic spitter kind of energy I had to say about this one. Just an overall dope type one. So yeah, the song The Next Bitch is just some basic kind of city hopping type conduct within the fair behind this. The kind of some consistent kind of pedestrian kind of urban pizzazz as far as this pitch to kind of have with a good type tone. This basic kind of Wu-Tang type energy just within a more southern flavor as far as this pitch can happen. This Don Cannon type DJ drama type mixtape flavor. I'd say Deuce is Wild is a quality one. It's like a basic neighborhood kind of extra time to kind of get here. Just spark a few. I definitely feel like within the pitch behind it, get some blunts going. As far as this first can happen. Definitely good for some neighborhood Johns pitches like that. Just goodies pitches like that. Good primer for like night type fair as far as those aspects can happen. Not quite as ferocious as some of the type ones. Like when you think of like I'm a Shine and like I would say like GTRG, some of those type pitches. Probably Fuck You Pay Me, some of those type ones in particular. But I would say still some good looks for that particular type fair. Just like some primer type noise kind of get excited for that sort of appeal. Kryptonite Remix is a real nice one. This feels like pretty much like a UGK type song within the pitch behind it. This is the same sort of affluence because Outkast is pretty good at these type moments, and basically Killer Mike is a good offshoot of like Outkast as far as those first can happen. So this is like a super drifty kind of vehicle fog to kind of get here, just like UGK's kind of play his anthem from 2007, just a primer to that particular song. Super hotbox type song kind of get within some of those type pitches. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be smoking in the whip to this particular song. Just floaty and crisp enough just within the loftiness to really enjoy this particular type fair. Just basic conduct to that. Just a chopped and screwed type song within the pitch behind it. It's real difficult to discern who, like it says that Big Boy, Busta Rhymes, Lil Wayne, and Bubba Sparks are on this particular song, but it's just real difficult to discern who's who just because it's in chopped and screwed as far as those fairs can have. So it's just in the aspect there. But Shoot 'Em Up is a quality one as well. It's like a morose kind of late creep around. I'd have to say just out in like the night wind. Definitely here just some 3-6 Mafia kind of moving. I'd have to say just with a little bit more paranoia about it within the pitch behind. So just typical type conduct, just a frenetic type one. Probably the most dis-centered one off this particular product as far as this first going to happen. Just differential. Occasionally I would say that Killer Mike delves into some of that 3-6 Mafia type territory. He did do a song with 3-6 Mafia called Get 'Em Shawty as far as this first going to happen. Pretty hit single within that particular type fair. But just from the aspect of like that typical kind of snack run type music, just a little bit more night mission in mind, just for like commerce and just some night errands with this more serious type tone within the pitch behind it. So it's a good type fair. Promise I Will Not Lose is a pretty vicious type one within the aspect, or a good type appeal for it. It's like some good sports game energy and bright lights, I have to say, would step out within that particular appeal. Just a night of jive as far as those fails can happen. It's that typical kind of conduct when you think of songs by Outkast like Morris Brown and Mighty O. Some of those type pitches are just like a blistering kind of wild kind of football night and just pitch like that where you get some drinks in your system, just really get to having like the outing kind of crawl as far as those fairs can happen. Just some social festivities and just overall mingle. Good type aspect to have some of those type of appeals. It's kind of a quieter type one within the pitch, not as full bound on display within the fair behind, but it's a good aspect to, not as full bound kind of on display, but it's a good aspect to kind of have for some of that type of energy or just some social step out with like sports in mind. Fuck You Pay Me is a quality one as well. It's like a swirling kind of night commerce kind of get to some vicious kind of venue, Jim, I'd have to say. Pretty much just like Get 'Em Shawty within the same type of pitch about a good mingle song. So yeah, Fuck You Pay Me has some good type aspects to this behind this. The typical kind of night venue type mingle within the pitch is kind of one for like more, it's typical type one for more kind of laid back type conduct within the pitch. I mean, it's vicious within a sense, but is this kind of conduct of some buzzing type noise, this good marinate type tune kind of have for some of those aspects of just like the social pizzazz of it just within the fair behind it. I mean, minus the title being kind of like the song title's kind of in your face within the pitch behind, but it is a good type song kind of have for some of that type pitch. That's the only real thing about this particular product is just the fact that it doesn't really have as much full bound, like the public relations factor is relatively good on here, but it's still kind of in your face within the sense of not really having like the junts on here as far as something that like Outkast kind of did around this time with Mighty O and Morris Brown, some of those type pitches, some of the singles off that particular product that just had a little bit more casual appeal, something that could have charted a little bit heavier. It felt like Killer Mike was still a little bit more in hardcore type territory, despite the fact that he did have like some political rap and a little bit more seasonedness, just a little bit more kind of just conscious type rap, not as full bound within the pitch of being within the neighboring community, but it's still pretty hot shot type product, which is some dope type stuff. It's just within the pitch, just not having like the casual gems that crossover. You don't want this life is at least a close type one, but probably needed more appeals like that. It's still the early stages of Killer Mike. I'd say this is only his second album. But speaking of political rap, That's Life is a nice one for that. It's like a razzly kind of political rap step out to kind of get here. Just some swash kind of saloon music, I definitely have to say. It's kind of food for thought out as far as this pitch can have. So just the after effect of just like some product just in a more kind of backwash type place within the pitch behind this civil type fair, just out and about, just step out, just kind of more, just a little bit more grizzle within the tone, something that feels like Ice Cube would have done back in 1991. Some folks like that, Public Enemy, some of those type fairs, Digital Underground, some of those particular type folks within the pitch behind it. It's kind of a retro type one, not necessarily boom bap within the pitch, but just kind of something that just feels a little bit more beleaguered within the aspect, but just with a little bit more razzle as far as the pitch kind of goes. So yeah, That's Life is just kind of a grizzle type one within the pitch, but it just has a relative razzle, just like some relative kind of just swash type energy, but just within the pitch is still being awake enough to have like some good times, like a jukebox type setting pitches like that. I'd say just kind of an outback type one within the fair, just more uptown. Then I would say Pay Styles a quality one, or yeah, Pay Styles a quality one. This is a little bit trickier to find because this is not in the Killer Mike playlist, but this particular album is still some good type fairs, like a thumping kind of venue white noise kind of get here, just some low key jumps to kind of have within those aspects. Definite Get Crunk, kind of some homies commotion. I feel like here, good song for some chatter as far as this pitch can have. So just typical type fair with songs like Fuck You Pay Me, I'm a Shine, GTRG, some of those type ones within the pitch behind it. Civil batches within the aspects here. Same sort of flair just within the context. There are a good amount of social gems within some of these type of aspects just within the tone behind it, but it's just kind of the aspect as far as saying, just kind of the conduct that is just more low key and it doesn't really have any big names to really anchor this particular product to bring it more notoriety. It's just kind of the pitch. It's hardcore type territory, but it feels, I would definitely say on this particular album, like I do feel like he got to more secondary type territory with his 2008 album Pledge too, but with this particular one it feels more tertiary within a sense just because there's not really, like I do think it wouldn't have been too much of a deal to snag Young Jock or Trade the Truth, some of those type folks for this particular album, something like that within that type fair, even Pimp C or Bun B separately, one of those type ones, some of those type pitches. Paul Wall even would have been pretty good stuff to have gotten. But yeah, just to say within those pitches, it was still good type fair, but it's just when the Killer mixtape from 2006 had some of those type folks like 36 Mafia, but it's just a good type feel. So he did do a lot in 2006, but Sags and Flags is a nice one as well. This does, yeah, this showcases a cat named S.L. Jones on here. It's a good type fair. It's like a brooding kind of neighborhood crawl to kind of ghetto. Definitely feel like some good demon time saunter. I feel like within the tone behind it, good song to pick up some frozen burritos, pitches like that, toke some as far as those pitches can happen with it. Yeah, just basic neighborhood noise within the pitch behind this typical type fair, just chunking up to do some of those type pitches, just homies type noise, getting standard daps, some of those type pitches from the aspect behind as far as those fairs can happen, just typical kind of commotion behind it. So it's good type fair for some of these. But yeah, this mixtape or this double album gets a 9 out of 10 within the pitch. 14 out of 17 is definitely some pretty blistering type appeal. Like I said, if it had normally been 14 out of 17, that would have gotten like a 10 out of 10 just within the blisteriness. But just because there's 3 songs I didn't recommend plus 4 songs I was not able to hear in any fashion just because they're just not available for whatever reason, I had to say just in the aspect, just matches the score within the pitch. I do feel like chances are this album probably is pretty damn close to a classic. I mean, I just would say at worst, supposing I didn't recommend any of the 4 songs that I wasn't able to hear, it still would get an 8.5 out of 10 just in the pitch because that would still be 14 out of 21 within the pitch or 15 out of 21. I guess to say just to say what would happen if it was 14 out of 21, I'd probably say that would be like an 8 or something like that, just a solid 8 out of 10 within some of those type pitches. But it's just within the tone as far as saying for the most part it's pretty severe within the conduct of it. But yeah, just being able to say here, so that's the prospect behind this album. Just excellent double album from Killer Mike as far as this person can have, despite not having like a huge kind of promotion list or just things like that and big names within some of those type fairs within the pitch behind. It's still pretty excessive, and just overall deliverance of it's pretty impressive within the fair behind it. So the social score I'll probably give, though, I'd probably say the social score would probably get like an 8.75 out of 10 because it does have the moments on here, some social spark with some of these type appeals of like some venue noise, some strip club type energy pitches like that, some of that type of appeal, neighborhood noise pitches like that. This is the standard conduct of out and about just between like the hours of probably 3 o'clock p.m. to about 10 o'clock at night or 1 or 2 in the morning. I had to say within some of those type pitches, just good conduct for some of those type moments, some sports games type moments, some neighborhood crawls, some burrito snack runs type moments to kind of get some 3-6 Mafia kind of creeping pitches like that, some car cruise rounds, some hot box to whip type tunes. So plenty of those type pitches within the aspect was this kind of tone that just without big names, like an anchored kind of single and much promotion, really much information about this. And then on top of that, the fact that it's just not easy to find within the concept of it just narrows it down to 8.75. But I look after it, In terms of the future, like Killer Mike has put out an album as recent as the summer of 2024. So he dropped an album on top of like his Grammy-winning album of the year 2023 album, Michael's first album. So he has put out to him within recent times, but before that he had not dropped anything since 2012. But he did drop some Run the Jewels type projects. Just to be able to say, so there is some fares like that within some of those type pitches. But I look within the tones, an excellent type album here within the pitch. Pretty much, if I do recommend a lot of these, which I would question whether or not, it's pretty likely that I would hesitate. I probably would think that this album would probably get over a 9 out of 10, with including like the 4 songs I was not able to listen to. But I just look within the pitch. It's definitely a blistering type double album either way. Definitely impactful type one, proves that Killer Mike can nail a double album.